Welcome back. So we are, as you can tell, we are at the Rio Park. God, sometimes when I'm talking on camera, I forget things. But yeah, we are at the Rio Park, the Rio Hondo trailhead, and we're about to start our run. This time, we're going to take the northern route, and it's going to be extra noisy because I am wearing my sandals. You're going to hear them. So I just thought I would also share a few pointers with you today. In particular, we talked about this once before, and really even myself, as I start to talk about these things with you, sometimes I start to discover how much more valuable they are, and that is positive feedback. But along with that, I also want to come clean with you, because I always tell you that you can do this, and you can do long hikes, and you can do long runs. But I have to be honest, some of you can't. And there will be two important reasons. One of them, I'll say right now, psychological. And psychological reasons are not imaginary any more than many types of psychosomatic illness. We like to say that it's in your mind, but the mind is all there is, really. I mean, this reality here is not there. So anyway, the run is not supposed to be too hard, which is why I thought I would talk a little to keep myself from completely, Okay, so let's go ahead and start. Run. It says I should be on a recovery 11:20. So let me go ahead and switch to the other camera. Okay, and let's go ahead and tell the watch to do the workout. Although I never run at that speed, it's probably going to start complaining when I go too fast. So let's get started. Notice a couple days after the rain, water's still flowing. Well, sometimes I wonder, why don't they just filter out that water, since, our state is in a drought? I wouldn't know. I'm sure it's probably because it's just harder. But, I mean, if the drought is bad enough, it could probably help. First mile is always the toughest. Whoa, I didn't even start it. I seem to be making that mistake more often lately. I didn't used to. So, but whatever. No, I didn't used to forget to turn it on and off. I think I'm paying too much attention to the camera. So I lost about 0.2 of a mile there. Oh, no biggie. Oh, that's right. My heart rate strap is down here by my belly. So let me go ahead and pause this for a second. Okay, I'm back. I put my strap around my stomach just so that I can carry it. But I think I'm going to need to start to set up a little checklist. I mean, really, I shouldn't need one. I should be a purist and just run for the run, which is true. A lot of the times I do keep it simple. It's when I'm running with a video, things get a bit more complicated. Either way, wow! Look at how full of water though. This place is almost never like that. That is amazing. I mean, that's what this place is supposed to be. It is supposed to be a drainage or some sort of a basin, specifically to hold the water during heavy rains. So that should give you an idea of just how heavy the rains have been. Because it almost never, even during normal rains, you almost never see it like this. That is interesting. I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna take a picture. Okay, so I'm back. I did want to try to make this completely uncut, as I've made some of my videos, but as I said, to take pictures, I'll show you the panorama that I took. But yeah, this camera can't do both things at once, so I gotta stop one thing to do the other. But now I'm wondering, given how wet everything is, yeah, see, is the road still gonna be open? Looks like it is. Okay, good. practically turned into a lake. See? It's a lake. Oh, watch it keeps complaining. I know, I should slow down. Today was supposed to be a bit of an easy run. Whoa. Yeah, look at that. The whole road is completely flooded. Yep. Hey now. I mean, that's what it's kind of designed for, so it's not like I have much to complain about. I didn't even know there was this little alternate trail here, because everything you see there is the cement road. That's where I'm normally running. Not today! In all the years I've run here, I've never seen it like that. My big concern then would be wouldn't the water like mess up the foundations of that? Can't even see the road, can you? I think that's the road coming back. Yeah, that's... Wow. I'm not used to seeing flooding out here. I mean, I know some of you folks out there in your part of the world know where flooding is.
Lap 1, 10:02. Heart rate 125. Average pace 10:03.
Well, that's right. I was wondering why I didn't do 1 mile, but remember that I'm off. So. Check out the eagle. Looks like it's got a Cheeto. Oh no, it's a condor. Or a vulture. Oh. You really don't see them here. I wonder if it was attracted to my colorful headband. I mean, they got great vision, but even they don't have perfect vision. Probably at a distance, he thought my headband might be some colorful bird. Once he got closer, it was still, oh well, I'll just check it out. Checking me out and realized I don't have a bird on my forehead. Check out how flooded Rio Hondo. Now it really is the Rio Hondo. Yeah, that's a lot of water. I've never seen that in 20 years. Let's go. Yeah. Well, at least my regular boring run. And yes, runs are boring. That's another one of those things. Yeah, they can be a little interesting after a while, but that's not what I'm saying. This makes it interesting. By their nature, to me, runs aren't very interesting. Now, this dirt trail actually has a little road, a little trail that goes under the bridge to the other side where we're about to go. Of course, right now that's not happening. Well, I guess you could cross. road closed. I see there's some water over there. So maybe for a while this was also underwater. Okay, so let's start talking about one of the more underrated aspects of how to exercise successfully. And that is positive feedback. I spoke about it on our hike. Maybe check it out. And I say this because honestly, I think that's bringing me closer to understanding why I do this, even though I hate running. See, I still hate it. It's still painful. But I will admit, once I started thinking about remember I told you that I've met other runners who also say they hate running. But they gave me some important feedback that although they hate it, they don't regret it. And I'm like, well, why don't you regret it? You should regret things you hate. And a lot of that is that if something that you hate sets you back in life, then that's why you will hate it and you'll regret it. But if something that you hate, that is painful, but you actually benefit from it in some way, you get something back, or at least you don't suffer, then you don't regret it. In other words, after a run, the worst thing that I feel is tired. That's all. Pooped up. But I don't normally feel injured. And although there are times when I will lose progress, it's not because of the runs. It's because of what I haven't done. Although there is an element of uncertainty. Well, there's times that my runs suck. But I think that's mostly a subjective opinion. Because think about it. I'm doing, even on my shortest runs, my 8, or let's say a 6 mile run. I almost never do 6 milers anymore. Even my short runs are 8. But my point is, even an 8 mile run, let's say I run 8 miles and I run
Lap
slow.
2, 9:51. Heart rate 126. Average pace 9:57.
Okay, we're good. So, even if I run 8 miles at a terrible pace, it's hard to argue that is absolutely bad because, hell, I just ran 8 miles on my 2 legs. That's still an accomplishment, even if I went super slow. And I think, although consciously my insecurity and all my conscious concerns feel valid, there's a deeper part of us, part of our lizard brain, the part of me that makes me a hypochondriac. Well, that deeper part of you is often far smarter than you give it credit for. And that side of you almost certainly recognizes. It doesn't reason this though, because the lower brain, your more ancient brain, doesn't really reason. That's what your cortex does. Your lower brain is far more ancestral, far more ancient. Doesn't need to reason though. Like I said, it's got a bunch of little simple modules that are just doing calculations. And my guess is that after all those miles, your lizard brain doesn't even know, maybe, that you did miles. All it knows is you were under a consistent, tolerable stress for a long time, over an hour. And I'm only using an hour as our convenience. I'm sure your lizard brain doesn't give a shit what an hour is, but you know what I'm saying. Well, after such a long run, such a hot long time, with all the endorphins and the adrenaline and your energy being depleted, but not being completely lost. That's the thing. My runs are painful, but they are sustainable. In other words, I'm not broken. And that's a very important part. Because when you break, you can still feel victorious. But I'm saying for many beginners, one of the mistakes many beginners make is they run too hard, too soon. And they break too quickly. You know, they won't even make it a mile when they break. And so your body, if you break too soon and you're not used to it, it's just a little more likely to interpret that as some sort of a failure and even potentially some sort of a danger to you. And so it's going to flood you with brain chemicals that to discourage you from doing something like that. And so yes, you will feel bad in some of your early runs because your lizard brain registered something that was potentially dangerous. Something that broke you. You're lucky this time. Next time it'll break you for good. And so, since its goal is to keep you alive, it's gonna make you feel bad so you won't do that again. You know, this is my own guesses. So you don't think I'm saying anything that is scientifically backed. Some of it might be, but as far as I know right now, there really isn't. So, but it seems to align with what I say, because when you do run sustainably for a while, you don't need to do a whole hour, like I said. An hour doesn't mean anything, but I'd imagine at least some amount of time that your body will interpret as not a total failure. And I'm not saying your consciousness, because as I said, when I'm running and I run 8 miles slow, I feel like a failure. But that's not important. What does your lizard brain record? Your lizard brain, my lizard brain, records that 8 miles was over an hour running, and I didn't stop. I didn't fall on the ground. I didn't pass out. I didn't throw up. So it wasn't that bad. And so it doesn't send out those negative chemicals. Instead, And that is something I think is backed by research. It sends out some of the endorphins and positive chemicals. Why? That one I can't answer. I will try to post some research up there that might explain it. My guess is it's just, as I just said, you just did something for a long time. You survived it. And so your body is going to slowly give you permission to do that more often. This probably would explain also, by the way, why when you go to the gym, your first year, you get a lot stronger. But what most folks don't know is that increase in strength isn't just hypertrophy. It also includes neural recruitment. What does that mean? Well, what that means is that your body, when you're a beginner and you exercise, is very, very conservative as far as letting you max yourself out. So if you're lifting a weight, and let's just say you're on the bench press, and you're going to test yourself, what's the most you can do for one rep? And if you're a total beginner, your body might max you out at 50 pounds, let's say. Now here's the thing. You probably at that moment have enough muscle to do 100 without even injuring yourself. At that point, you almost certainly have enough to do double with doing nothing else. If you could just figure out how to get your nerves to recruit all your muscle. But as I said, your body's conservative. Mostly so that you don't injure yourself, because recruiting all your muscles when you're totally out of shape, it could very well rip your muscles out of your sockets. If nothing else, cause other kinds of injuries. There's a lot of structural components that could be injured.
Lap 3, 9:19. Heart rate 128. Average pace 9:45.
Okay. And so, as a matter of fact, as time goes by, your muscle recruitment goes up and up. But it never, at least as I understand, it never hits 100%. Even with skilled power lifters. But skilled power lifters in time will get pretty damn close. I think they will get as high as 90% recruitment. Now, this is important to keep in mind because that high recruitment, wow. Yes, running too fast. So that recruitment, as I said, it actually lets you achieve more with what you got. It can also be a pain in the ass for those of us who've been working out a long time, because sometimes some of us will lift more than our appearance shows. Now, that's not entirely due to neural. There's also structural issues. But one of them is neural recruitment, in that you keep going to the gym and you're getting stronger, you're lifting more, but your arms aren't getting bigger. So you might be like, what the hell's going on? Well, in some of those cases, your arms are not getting bigger because you're not really growing more muscle. You're just recruiting more nerves, which by itself is still a good thing. But I'm just saying that because, you know, many of us guys, we want them big arms. Sometimes I still do, although I realize that big arms are not good for running. So I'm conflicted. But anyway, so the whole point there is, in time, with sustainable running, and your
Lap
body...
4, 246. Heart rate 126. Average pace 944.
That was the end of the recovery run. We still got plenty of miles to go. So my whole point, though, is that as you're running and your body releases those chemicals probably contribute to the rest of your body adapting to more mileage, more everything. But along with that, those positive chemicals also, of course, give you the positive feedback that you need. Or, as I said, they make you feel good. And as you know, we all like to feel good. It is why sugar is so addictive. Now, it doesn't really feel so great. But it's enough that if you keep doing it, I mean, consider the fact that I've gone on runs, maybe 1,000 times, perhaps more. After that many runs, all the times that I've run successfully, even slow runs, have all been giving me that brain juice, the good brain chemicals. And my adaptation has improved. This is almost certainly why I can do much more effort on my runs. Even though, as I've always stated, I'm quite a mediocre runner. I still am. But I'm also an experienced mediocre runner. And so, with experience, more of my nerves are recruited to push me just a little bit faster. So that my times will drop off. Not because of more muscle, just because my nerves give me more permission to do it. But that positive feedback, it's not simply the brain chemicals. Think about it. You've done something 1,000 times. Sometimes the very habituation of something, the very fact something becomes a habit, starts to get hard to break. I know this because the times that I don't run, especially if I've had to take off a week or two, like when I got sick recently, I started feeling weird and anxious, like I needed to. No, it didn't feel like I wanted or it was going to feel good. It still doesn't feel good. That's just because the initial part probably still has the same characteristics. As a matter of fact, here's where I'm going to connect with all runners. That is, I have spoken to talented runners, and even talented runners will tell me, yes, of course, running hurts them too. As a matter of fact, it probably at some point is just as painful to them as it is to me, if not more. Check out Birdie Boy. I don't know what he was. He looks like a duck, but he didn't quack like a duck. But so talented runners also feel pain. But here again, we go back to what I said. So then why do they always say it feels good? It feels good. Because early, and this is so important, early in their career, unlike in mine, but in their careers, as soon as they started running, when they were little kids, back when running was fun for all of us, they got a little extra boost of positive feedback because they were already faster than most other kids their age. This is something I've seen with many talented runners, which is they already, since childhood, were doing better. And you know what? When you're doing something better than others, you get that positive feedback both socially and even instinctively. When you notice that you can outrun others. I have a niece who's an amazing little runner. And I've actually talked to her. And she's given me some amazing insights. Such an amazing kid. One of them is what I just told you, which is when she's running, it doesn't really hurt. She feels like she's gliding. And I ask her, well, what about when somebody chases you? And she's like, well, I don't even worry about that because they can't catch me. Now, let's be fair. She is not yet disciplined. And even if I tried to catch her, I would catch her. So, but it's not about reality. It's about her perception. In her world, she is faster than pretty much everyone else. She already knows it. She doesn't struggle as much. Her biomechanics are already better tuned to do that than most of us. So she can do it just a little bit better. She doesn't need to be twice as fast. All she needs to do is be maybe 5% faster. That's enough. Have a slightly better aerobic system. Just slightly. Just be 5% better. Her natural gait just needs to be just a little bit better. And all of a sudden, all these things add up to a little athlete that when they run, whatever pain, they'll feel pain at some point. First of all, when you're still running and you're light, remember, little kid, 50 pounds. Running's not as painful yet because you don't have to carry so much weight. Go back to when you were young. We all felt good running. As a matter of fact, very small kids, it was often their favorite mode of transportation, running, not even walking. And so from 5 years old, they're getting this positive feedback. And as I said, they're not even super happy. Some are though, but I'm saying many good runners. I don't know if my niece will one day win championships, but I do know that the positive feedback she already gets as a child has given her a mental instinct in her mind. A mind space is, I think, what they call it. A mind space where running isn't absolutely torture. She'll feel pain at some point, but long before she feels the pain, she feels the positive feedback.
Lap 5, 9:08. Heart rate 133. Average pace 9:36.
I'm going too fast. but the rest of us aren't so lucky. When we run, especially me, as a child, I couldn't catch the kids in freeze tag or tag. I was running. I remember in my elementary school, it was intermediate school, they had a little charity called the Jogathon, where people would support us by donating a certain amount for every lap we would run around the track. All I remember was how slow I was compared to the kids. Even though I would step on it. As a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure that what I really felt was that I had very little discipline control. Remember, even now, I do not have good control of my pace. So I almost certainly ran too fast. So it was not sustainable. Remember, we started this discussion talking about how you need a long, sustainable run to give you that positive feedback. As a young runner, hell, even as a young adult runner, I did not run sustainably. So I never ran long enough to get that positive feedback. Instead, I got the opposite. Every time I'd run too fast. I would fade very quickly, as usually happens when you run too fast. I didn't even have the endurance engine built in yet. So, because right now if I run too fast, I will start to fade. But if I slow down enough, I will recover much, and I will probably be able to return back to a good, respectable pace. But when you don't have that metabolic engine yet, as a child and young adult, you're a runner, you don't get that second chance. You get no chances. You run too fast, you fade, and then your body is just absolutely broken. Your brain gives you the negative chemicals, and so you don't like it. Totally the opposite of what most of the, like I said, my niece and other kids who've run. She's not the only one I've spoken to. Like I said, I've spoken to many runners, and again, this common theme. Now, they don't think about it as positive feedback. Then again, many of them aren't thinking about much of that at all. They think about other aspects. But they do notice that they were usually pretty good at running, even if they weren't the fastest. Although this one runner, she was telling me that, she wasn't that fast, but she was okay. And then her mother's like, are you kidding? She won like county champion and all kinds of championships. My point is, though, you also got to be wary of people's reports. She was being a little too modest, probably because she knows that I always complain about my own skills. But so even she had very, very good skills and was getting that positive feedback. The thing that we never do. Now, you may be like, oh, how important is that? The thing is, it's difficult to explain just how important it is. But just think about it. That positive feedback just gives you 1% of those positive chemicals. You don't even feel that good. You just don't feel as awful. That's the thing. And that's something I can report fully, even after a brutal run. I don't feel bad. My life could be falling apart, but at least I don't feel that bad. It's like I know my life sucks at the moment. Not right now, I'm just saying, at times that I've been done really poorly in life. After a brutal run, I will often feel quite stable. Like, yeah, life sucks. Meh. Hakuna Matata. You know. So running is a very, very powerful mood stabilizer. I mean, I can't be telling you something new. Everybody knows that. It's not a total cure, by the way, because I have known a couple of runners who've committed suicide. Well, one runner who committed suicide. But then nothing is an absolute guarantee of anything. So, nevertheless, okay, let me press the button because I'm about to hit 5 miles. Well, 5.20. There we go.
Lap 6, 6:35. Heart rate 130. Average pace 9:33.
Okay. Anyway, it really stabilizes. It just really takes the edge off. It blunts your shit emotions. It is so effective that the vast majority of you who are plagued with depression and anxieties, mental problems, should try it just for that. You don't need to kill yourself with a super tough run, as I'm just saying right now. That's not the point. As a matter of fact, burning yourself up will probably make you worse. No. Make it a sustainable run. Start as a beginner. Suffer a bit. But your whole point is to be able to sustain the run, whatever pace you need. Don't worry about speed. And then in time, see if it doesn't help. It may not cure you entirely, but I'm pretty sure that it'll do wonders. And that's just the neurochemical part from feedback. you were born with it, like many talented runners, and they were unaware. Most of them probably never really noticed. This doesn't explain all of them, by the way, because I'm sure there might be some runners who will try to tell me that it's not the case. Although, I'd like to talk to them, because I would still argue it's the case in about 97% of them. 3% it might not be. Maybe they too feel just as much pain and no positive feedback. The thing is, even now I get positive feedback. The only difference is that since I got it later in life, starting runs just don't feel good. But after a few miles, like right now, I feel okay. It hurts. Yes, of course it does. But those brain chemicals, they're not necessarily feel-good chemicals. They're more like stability. Like, it'll be all right kind of chemicals. Now, let's move on to the next part, which is that I have to come clean with why, another part of why I can sometimes do these things, like run long distances and hike, while you might not be able to. Yes, there is practice, but there's one practice that I almost never have shared, mostly because I do it so often that if I filmed every time I did that, I'd absolutely bore you, because I do it even more often than I run, and that is walking. I'm not talking about regular walking that most people do. I'm talking about dedicated walking. For at least the past 15 years, I've always set aside time every day to walk a minimum of 2 miles, 40 minutes, pretty much every day, except my running days now. Although there were times when I would run and do my cool down and then still do a walk. Oh my God, that was crazy. Right now, on my run days, I only do a run and a cool down. But on the other days I'm not running, like on my gym days, I will do my gym, and then to make sure that I get the most out of both exercises, I will do my walk optimally 4 hours after a workout. Just a general idea that I had, that I want to space my walk and my workout by about 4 hours. Sometimes, of course, if I can't do that, I will just do the workout and the walk at the same time. Or not at the same time, but like, as soon as I'm out of the gym, I go for a walk. There have been many times that I'll do 2 walks. The whole point, though, is that in any given week, I do about 20 to 30 miles of walking. I'm just dedicated walking. Again, as I said, that's not just...
Lap 7, 9:11. Heart rate 131. Average pace 9:29.
So that's just dedicated walking, not average just walking to the house and walking to the car, walking to the store walking. That is probably the same as your average American, which is about 1.5 miles to 2 miles. So if you count that I will average about 2.2 miles on my walks, and then about 1 mile on my gym, you can see that I still do about 5 miles a day of walking. I've been doing it for more than 10 years. As a matter of fact, before I started taking my running more seriously, I was convinced that walking was just as good as running. And so I would just walk, and I'm like, if I don't ever run again, at least I walk a lot. The thing is, like weights, walking is an absolutely fantastic exercise. As a matter of fact, of all the exercises, I think it is the most fundamental. Everyone should walk. I would say at least a couple of miles. I have no idea why he said that. But walking should be the single exercise you do everywhere. You should probably try to get at least a total of 2 miles on your feet. Minimum 2 to 3 miles. Since most of us already walk about 1 mile to 2, that means you should at least go for a daily walk for at least 1 mile to 2. Also, the whole point, though, is that all those years and more than a decade of walking has built a certain endurance in me. It is probably a big part of why I can run, I can hike those 20-mile hikes. You don't need to walk as much to do those hikes, but most folks are going to be quite wasted. Walking is just one of the additional ways that I build my endurance engine. And as I said, I do it pretty much every day. And so, when I say you might not be able to, perhaps because you're not building your endurance engine in all the ways that I am. I don't just run, I walk every day. And that really does. I'm pretty sure that contributes to my ability. It's 10 minutes till sunset. Here comes the airplane. Can you see it in the distance? Sorry about that. Here it comes. Landed. Okay, here comes another plane.
Lap 8, 9:15. Heart rate 129. Average pace 9:27.
Okay, we're gonna turn around in just a bit. Okay, let's go. Let's go. Let's turn around. Look at the train.
Lap 9, 9:05. Heart rate 129. Average pace 9:25.
Okay. I'm going to take a little break. I'm filming. My arms are hurting. I'll catch you in a couple miles before it gets too dark.
Lap 11, 8:28. Heart rate 135. Average pace 9:15.
Going too fast. So anyway, that was a good run otherwise. Now my points that I said, I hope you took them in mind. In particular, like I said, I really think that the whole idea of positive feedback is underappreciated. I really think there's more to talk about it because I think it explains some curious aspects about my own running, like I said. Not only that, but many other things in life. So this isn't just something that applies in one area. I think it applies to many more things. And the other thing, of course, go for a walk. Plan walks. I know when you first get started, you're like, oh my God, 40 minutes a day? Well, don't, like I said before, remember when on the hike, don't go for 40-minute walks. Do 20-minute walks. That's all. Start small. And then later, as it starts to become a useful and valuable part, because one thing I like about walks, man, walks really, really do clear my brain. They are valuable. I'm going to pause my watch here so I can end. They're valuable for many things. And once you realize their value, they clear out your throat. You think better. Your test results in school turn out better. There's even been studies for that. I mean, it's so many things that you're just going to be like, why didn't I do this sooner? And you'll find things to do while you're walking. I often will listen to audiobooks while I'm walking. Of course, when you're doing that, just make sure and pay attention to traffic. Don't get so swept up in your audiobook or your podcast that, So I do things that are productive. And really, it really has made a difference. That, I honestly believe, is one of the things that has helped give me the endurance that I have, not just running. So until next time, don't forget to challenge yourself.